You gotta save it up.
Yeah. Gotta save it up. So this is our Tidal Bay 2016.
Isn't that Tidal Bay nice?
It's so soft.
It's a 5-grape blend. So Lacadie, Geisenheim, Riesling, Chardonnay, and Vidal. 5 grapes. We've kind of kept ours away from some of the more like super aromatic things like muscat. And I'll pour you our other entry-level white wine here in a second, and you'll kind of see why we wanted to keep them different enough.
Yeah.
So our Tidal Bay, we want it to be really crisp, bright, fresh, something that I would drink with seafood, you know, and keep it on the drier side. So tons of that Nova Scotia acidity there, just really fresh and bright. 100%.
Yeah, it doesn't have a big nose to it at all.
It's more subdued, especially if you compare it to some of the other Tidal Bays, which are a little more aromatic. I get typically like pear, apple fruit, some tree fruit, some soft white flower florality, and on the palate I get a little bit of minerality and lemon.
A little
citrusy.
bit, but it's not. But it's that everything is. I know I use the balanced is not the word. It just sounds so balanced, but it's like a little bit of this, 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 right? Like it's not one thing that's kind of overcharging everything else. That's soft, it's nice.
And still with that acidity, but it's not bracing, and it's balancing that off drop the sweetness, right? It's a nice expression of Tidal Bay for sure.
All right, so I'll pour Flora.
I'm so determined to do Tidal Bay tasting.
Yes.
Line them up.
Exactly. People start doing Tidal Bay parties here where they'll say, we're hosting, and then they'll say, okay, you bring the bottle of this, you bring a bottle of this.
Oh,
and so you bring
that's a
people
good idea.
together, and then you have all of the Tidal Bays.
That's fun.
Yeah. And I haven't tried this one, so this is exciting. This is their new, they've done a flora and a fauna. So the fauna is the red.
Oh, makes sense.
And so it's a blend then?
This is a blend, It's a blend of it's like Germanic varieties.
Okay.
And so this is an aromatic blend. The grape varietals are Schweireba. So it's a Riesling. Are you
I've
familiar
heard
with
of it,
Schweireba?
but it's very rare.
Yeah, it's more obscure German vinifera varietal. Sort of, the team has nicknamed it like Riesling on spring break. Because it's like got a lot of tropical fruit, tends to
I love that.
the tropical
Yeah.
spicy side, and then there's some Zigareba, which is a Gewürztraminer relative. So that's what the aromatic lift that leads towards kind of like a muscati type of note. It's actually the Zigareba that you're smelling, and then Ortega.
Well, the Ortega is I would say that's probably a good. It's more of the base. What's the percentage of each?
They're about
Even?
and yeah, they're more or less even. The Zigareba would be the smallest percentage. I'm trying to keep that just as a small aromatic lift.
As much as yes, there's some. It's a much different nose than the other one. It's still very soft. Like it's nothing's like in your face. Which makes it I like that word approachable. I gotta find another word for approachable. I use that a lot. But approachable meaning that it's not going to sway one person one way or the other on the nose or the finish or whatever. Like I said, it's.
And this was designed to be our most approachable white blend, so it's interesting.
So I can use the word approachable.
Yeah, you can for sure.
I was just gonna say.
I'm gonna get a bottle of
tend to overuse it.
No, I think that's a perfectly okay word. Now I'm just trying to think of what we should go to next. It is 10.5%, both the Tidal Bay and the Flora, so nice, lovely low alcohol great for picnics or other types of daytime activities.
Anywhere we need a good screw cap.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. I think we'll go.
That's lovely.
Isn't that nice? Don't mind if I do. Michael hasn't been here yet. He says he's going to have the Josh tour.
Josh has never so you should come and get
You
the
should
Rachel
come for the
tour.
Rachel tour.
You
I
should.
should tell him.
You
I'll tell him
should. You
that.
tell him.
Rachel says don't
Tell him
get
Josh can come too, but
Yeah.
what should we go to next, Pete?
I like when she's giving us the tour, right? Like it's I think you need to have this next.
I know,
This
right?
one you need to have because she
You're
knows
gonna have
what's
this
coming,
one next.
right? She knows what's coming. I'm a sucker for a Pinot.
It's my favorite.
What did I have last night? Remember, I found a Pinot on their menu, and it was California. I was like, really? Came all the way here to California Pinot?
Where are we eating?
We were at Blondin.
Blondin. You will find at Le Caveau
It's good.
tonight that their wine list is
A little more
impressive. And I do, where we didn't get a chance to go to their winery, do try some of their wines. I did mention about their, Jörg has won for his Riesling.
Okay.
So Jörg's the winemaker there. He's
I
won
love
the
Riesling.
Lieutenant Governor award for
Yeah.
Riesling. These guys have won a Lieutenant Governor awards for their Chardonnay.
Ooh,
And
that's what they say.
I know, right? And anyway, I'll let you talk about that.
Yeah, definitely Le Cavo's wine list is probably the best around. I'd say it's really good. Definitely a
I
fan
like
of
seeing a
Jörg's
place
style.
that's focusing on what you're making here locally.
Yeah.
I was really surprised. I will edit this part out too later. But Bicycle Thief.
Okay, so that's there's a whole other thing behind that.
Because I reached
that
out to
can
them
get into.
after
I can tell you about it.
after we made all of our plans and stuff. I sent them an email and I just said, hey, like I'm coming in and I've heard a lot of great things. I was planning to come here last year for another group thing and I thought, what time can I come in that's not going to interrupt two things and I can sort of sit in the bar and chat with you guys. And I was going to talk to them about how the local wine industry was. And then I go to hit send and then I started browsing around their website and went, oh, okay. So then when she messaged me back and said, maybe come around this time, and they hit reply and said, okay, well, that's good. So I noticed that you don't really have any local ones.
No.
Yeah.
So you're better bet.
I am
Now you-
going to talk more about the dining industry and about where you fit in, and I'll talk about, so that was a whole different.
Yeah, so I will say, you are going to Obladi, which is amazing.
Correct.
And there are a number of restaurants that are doing a great job with
yeah.
local products.
Yeah.
One, which is just the next door neighbor to Bicycle Thief, which is called Little Oak. And Little Oak, it's a restaurant wine bar, but they have an impressive local. They have an impressive wine list in general. They have some like cool, quirky things that people wouldn't necessarily have, but they're great supporters of local. Also Edna restaurant. Edna is on Gottingen, and the folks that run there, and they've actually done kind of a rotating thing this summer, which is really cool. That's kind of a Nova Scotia winery of the week or of the month.
I think it's of the week.
Yeah. And so they will showcase the wines of a given winery that week.
That's cool.
Right? They also have a lot of local product and not just wine, beer, cider. So does Two Doors Down, which is a restaurant that's
2 doors down.
2 doors down from Chives. And Chives is a well-known Halifax restaurant, so 2 doors down. They have a very good Nova Scotia. So there are, as an industry, we do need to do a better job of licensee sales to restaurants, and particularly with outreach and education. And one way that I think many people can succeed is just with Title Bay alone. I think Title Bay can be a real big, push. And depending on the resources of the winery and the connections they already have, depends on what they have in different restaurants. But Bicycle Thief is an interesting one because I won't get into it here, but I'll tell you the backstory because it's a bit of a.
Yeah, it was just.
But a fantastic restaurant, like one of my faves. Love it.
But it's interesting on Curated's 25 list. They're not on it.
Oh, they aren't. Interesting. Okay.
I
She's meeting with Alex Hendon on Saturday.
Okay.
Right?
Yes. Yeah.
And I checked that because they just list their top 25 or whatever for the year, like based on like their survey type things. And Bicycle Thief wasn't on it.
Interesting.
Yep.
Yeah.
Anyways, enough of those people. I'm having a Pinot.
Exactly.
I am
Tell her about this. This is a big game changer for the industry.
So this is our 2014 Ancien Pinot Noir. We gave it the name Ancien, meaning old or former or ancient in French, because this is a bit of a legacy project here, and that's an homage to those who took care of this land before us, so not only our own ancestors, but the Acadian farmers and those before them. on the label you'll see a red-tailed hawk. You'll see lots of those in the vineyards. He has the Mayflower in his beak. That's Nova Scotia's provincial flower. So we're really proud to be making this wine in Nova Scotia, so we wanted to include that there. And then he has an ancient farming tool called the sickle in his little talons. So the Pinot Noir we grow in our Oak Island vineyard, so that's in Avonport.
Okay.
It's on a really steep slope there. It's a beautiful site with it's similar proximity to the Midas Basin, which is very crucial for moderating our winter temperatures, as well as creating a constant air movement. So the leaves, because the tides are coming in and out, there's this constant light breeze that goes with that. That's really important for us because it helps keep things dry. So we are farming organically as well as biodynamically, and in our climate, which tends to be a little bit wetter than say if we were going to compare it to Niagara, for example, it's really important to have that air movement, which keeps things dry, and in the winter it keeps the air moving as well, which is very important. So Pinot Noir, definitely the most challenging wine that we make.
I'm sure.
Really rewarding for that reason. They call it the heartbreak grape. And here in Nova Scotia, we're definitely on the edge. So this wine is really made in the vineyard. Sounds cliche, but we have to really do a lot of hands-on work. Babying it along. We do shoot thinning, shoot positioning, cluster removal, leaf removal. We're through there, quite a few passes, bringing the crop down to a balanced level. And we pick this typically late October.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a little later.
It's a little later. And then it's wild fermented, so we don't add any commercial package yeast.
Mm-hmm.
We let the yeast that's on the fruit and in our cellar environment do the work. With the goal of letting the land shine through. So we don't want to really interfere too much. On that same token, we're trying to avoid new oak. So we're using a lot of older oak barrels in our Pinot Noir program, 100% French oak, and leaning towards a very neutral side. Because the fruit is delicate, we want to give it some structure and texture and lift the fruit, but not overpower it with oak flavor. Then it spends 18 months in barrel.
Okay.
So it does age in barrel, and this has been in bottle now for just over a year. Yeah.
It's surprising. I think I'm going to have to put a link next to the podcast. Anyone who hasn't seen the side, please don't tell me that you're a wine lover. Really? You are not a true wine lover.
She knows that we saw that recently, and it cracks you up. I mean, we saw it in the theater when it came out, but I hadn't seen it in a number of years, and we watched it again.
Every time I watch it, I get giggles. Because we watch Billions now all the time. Yeah. And as much as he tries, now he's trying to be like this serious actor, and he's in all the other roles, I still can't start, anything but Merlot.
Yeah,
when he goes off.
And I would talk to a lot of producers and stuff, even in California, and anyone who made, like, Merlot took a huge hit
after that movie. 100% it did.
Yeah. Merlot sales just tanked. Yay for Pinot, but that's crazy.
It's amazing how something like that can
do
such a huge impact.
Such a little movie too, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, not a big, Yeah.
Is it on Netflix? Did you see it?
What did Mike and I see it recently?
I don't think it's on Netflix.
No.
I think it may have just been on TV and we watched it.
Yeah, we're not right now TV. I'm just gonna say going through Bell might be Crave. No, I don't think Crave had it. I think we'd have to get it through iTunes. Oh, it's a good one. I'm liking this Pinot. Just putting it out there in case you ask me, saying, "Hey, what do you like?
What do you want?" Yeah.
Especially after I had that California one yesterday. A little much. Which one did I have? It's Pinot. They didn't have very many wines by the glass.
Really?
Maybe 6. Plus maybe 2 features, and they were not local. He had a red Chilean one. Was it a Chilean one you had last night?
He's a really impressive wine list. He does have a really impressive wine
He
list.
does, but it's all by the bottle. There's nothing. Was it South African red that you had?
Shiraz.
Oh yes, it was a Shiraz.
He has some great older stuff too, like he
Yeah, he
ages
does. And
That's what I was upset
we've done winemakers dinners there where everyone brings a bottle and it's like the theme, and you bring your paper bag and we all drink or whatever.
Yeah.
And then he usually pulls out some bottles for us.
He's
to
got
have.
on his menu. It's like teasing. I told you that. Like underneath, he's like, oh, for this one I have this, or I have this, and then I have this, and I have that. And, oh, it's got a South African poignée. Oh, and then I'm going through them all excited, and then I'm trying to order it.
But you're like,
I'm
you
gonna have a
can't
glass
order.
of this with this course, and a glass. She goes, yeah, we can't do that. But,
Oh, no.
Don't put it on your menu.
He needs to get a Corvin or something.
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
Corbin.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be the big one. Like we have like small that sales reps use, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Just one of those. Just take it in and pull it out and move
That's
on to the
it.
next one.
Opens up
Exactly.
your cellar. You know, it's pretty revolutionary.
Or at least 4, because they had a captain's dinner theme. They had their 4-course menu special. At least maybe if you're going to do it, offer pairings for each of the courses and
Right.
just focus on that menu. I was just like, oh, a selling opportunity. My business brain took over.
My business brain.
I just thought, oh, we're missing out. It's so good. Because the food was good. I was talking about food with you this morning.
Yeah. What'd you go for?
They had this pumpkin gnocchi, which is not usually something I would have in the
That sounds no, that's fall, but that sounds amazing.
Yeah. Oh no. It had they had crumbled andouille. That's what I was talking about.
Oh yes, the andouille sausage
And it
is
was
in there.
like cooked to like almost crunchy. It was just that. It was only a little bit fried sage, but it was almost like a spiced pumpkin puree that was in the bottom. Oh, it was so good. It was just enough.
Yeah.
Right? It wasn't that big. And I was teasing them. There was an older couple sitting beside us, and they were obviously British. But I was almost wishing I had my microphone to record him, describe to her everything that he was eating. It was just in whisper mode, saying, the sausage is cooked down like it would have been beef. And they take another couple bites, and he went, and they actually pan-seared.
Like he's going through.
Every little, and then I was looking at me, he goes, you just looked up and you were smiling. I went, I'll tell you.
Like listen to this guy telling her
He was-
like
every
in
little
detail.
bite he had.
And this is this. Did he at least give her a bite?
No.
No.
No, tell you, there was only this much.
No, there's only this much.
She had her own thing, but
Yeah.
it was cute. I love seeing passion, especially the older, the older people like that. They just get so excited. I think he was more excited than I was. Oh,
Smell that, right?
yeah, this is gonna be right. This will be your.
This will be his jam?
This is his jam. He's a Chardonnay boy.
Yeah. So they took part in I4C. This is their second year they were there.
Okay.
Benjamin Bridge was the first Nova Scotia winery there, and then Benjamin Bridge and Lightfoot Wolfville have been there for the past 2 years. Benjamin Bridge has been there for 3 or 4. Yeah. But the only 2 Nova Scotia wineries currently taking part in that celebration, so it's a pretty big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Wines were received pretty well. It was cool to have that Nova Scotian contingent there together. And so I'll tell you a little bit about this wine. This is 2014, so same vintage as the Pinot that we just tasted. And this comes from our estate block as well, so that the 5 acres just on the other side of the marquee there. Grown organically and biodynamically. We handpicked this also late October, typically around October 20th, for our still Chardonnay. Getting lots of hands-on work in the vineyard to get the fruits to this ripeness, flavor, concentration. Then we handpick, bring it in. Again, it's well fermented, so we're not adding any yeast. We don't add any sulfites at pressing either. So it's a very sort of natural way of making this wine, and the Pinot Noir as well. Barrel fermented, so we do a few days settle, then we put it down to barrel, French oak, again leaning towards the neutral through to second fill. We do use some new larger format barrels, which helps kind of bring a softer oak. Lift the fruit up, give it some texture and structure, and then it spends 18 months in barrel on its lees. That's the Chardonnay.
I'm seeing a signature across this.
Are you? Yeah.
Yeah, you have
Cool.
a very delicate hand.
Yes, we try to be very delicate.
It is. Everything is delicate. Everything is only there for a purpose. Everything is very soft. Everything is right? Like there's nothing like screaming. Like, I mean, this Chardonnay has it's a bigger nose to it than the other ones. That's what's going to attract.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's his. He likes those big. He likes to call them funky. But some of the big those big nose, heavy Chardonnays or something. That's kind of what he goes towards, or something that really sort of stands out.
Yeah.
But it's so soft. Right.
They're very elegant. All the wines are very elegant. And
Thank you, Gillian.
you're
I
welcome.
was just gonna say, well, and that's the whole thing you're talking about. So you're gonna do weddings and stuff here?
Yeah, the building is.
This is a wedding lineup,
Yeah, cute.
right? This is a because you can get guests with all different tastes. There's always gonna be something to complement it. You have a good range to be able to serve it with all of the whatever food stuff you're doing. The Blanc Blanc is going to be a good one for the toasting. Like there's a good range in there. I really think that might be. I'm always in just because I go back to my old events background,
Days,
right?
yeah.
And that was always a struggle trying to get them to stop making their own wine.
Yes. Oh, the worst. Oh, my uncle's gonna make the wine.
I was at one of those weddings a few
Were
weeks
you?
ago. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, dear.
They try, and you know what? And I always try to tell them, I say, you know what? Maybe it's because I know everyone's telling you should make your own wine because you think it's going to be cheaper than. I will happily
Tell
give
you.
Here's a list of other ones that you can get that they're the same price point, maybe $1 more a bottle,
And it's
at
like
least
proven quality.
And
Yeah.
and whatever you don't open, you can return.
Return.
Like there's all these great benefits to it.
Do not make wine for the wedding. No. Don't put a label of you and your husband on it. No one wants to see it.
Sorry, I'm gonna laugh about it now because I didn't do a entire podcast just on weddings.
Yeah.
And a friend of mine's a wedding planner, and that was one of the first experiments that we did with the whole new recording system. 2 hours of us laughing and joking about all these wedding things and wedding food and this. Please don't serve Caesar salad at your wedding and all these things, right? And we were laughing about stuff, and then at the very end, with 2 bottles in. Pressed the wrong button, lost the whole interview. So we have to do it all over again. I know.
Yes, which will never be the same, right?
I know. But it's we'll always look for another excuse. But
yeah.
the whole wedding industry, we still not. She's still in the industry.
Is she?
I'm not.
And where is she?
She's in Sudbury.
Yeah.
So, and it's cool because she's got a good international spin. And so she's got a lot of relatives, and her and her husband, they lived in Australia for a little while, and so she's got some traveling around it.
Yeah.
So she can bring in a lot of different cultures and experiences that way. But yeah, it was a good giggle for us about all our.
A good giggle.
Just of all if we could swap all the stories.
Yeah.
At some point I said if I can get my son to sit down because some of the stories that we could probably share, but I'd probably have to do it like under guise of something else.
Because people would know. Well, that was so-and-so's wedding.
Yeah, our city's not the
I was at that wedding.
That was
There
my
was
wedding.
there was a few. We did one, it was a radio contest. If you ever get asked, like, hey, can you donate for a wedding? Don't do it.
Donate for
Oh, we
a wedding.
don't. We're not donating. We're not in the business of donating here. It cheapens the brand.
It was a
cheapens
whole
what we do.
wedding contest
In the
where you
same
could
way.
win a whole wedding.
In the same way that we talked about, what did we say? Something about industry, and I was like, no, we don't do that. I've lost my train of thought. But no.
It was
No
every single
donations.
vendor that I worked with that day.
Oh,
all
I know
of us
this.
across the board.
Food. You wouldn't go in if you were planning an event and ask the chef to donate the food. So why on earth are people asking to donate the wine? It doesn't make any sense.
Oh yeah, it was.
I get
crazy.
worked up.
Yeah, it was. Anyways, all of us. None of us got any benefit out of it. The bride was this massive bridezilla who just assumed we were also planning the wedding for her. She had nothing organized, nothing planned. Just assumed that other people were going to announce when she came. Oh, it was everything that went wrong that day. Yeah, all of us were basically standing around the back of the thing having a drink at the end, and we said, "Yeah, we're never doing this again."
That's okay.
Photographer, DJ, everybody said across the board that was a bad move. So we kind of unfortunately warned all the rest of our wedding vendor friends, and we're never doing it again. None of them are. That's okay.
So were you what side of weddings did you?
Oh, I was catering.
You were catering. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Yeah.
We did all the dirty work.
Yeah. So this one, this is kind of funky. If you
Yeah.
Yeah. This is our 2016 Terroir Series Shoy Reba. So Shoy Reba single varietal. This also is grown in our Oak Island vineyard in Davenport. This was our first year working with this grape, and I gotta say we weren't sure what to expect going in. Shoy Reba is, I think we're the only ones growing it so far.
You're the first person I've heard of it, yeah.
Yeah, and pretty late ripening, like Riesling. Grows fairly similarly to Riesling. And then in the cellar, just a bit more aromatic. So, like I said before, Riesling on spring break, you get that really, I get like a lot of passion fruit, more tropical fruits. Sometimes a little lychee, and then a little spicy note. Like I call it ginger. I haven't found a better descriptor than ginger so far, but I get a distinct spiciness myself. Yeah. We did skin soak this for about 20 hours. And that really seemed to bring those flavors out. It's 9.5% alcohol, so nice and low again, very light. And this was our first wine that we got the organic symbol on the bottom.
Oh!
So our vineyards have been certified for a number of years. It's a bit of a journey to take that through the cellar. And so this was the first wine that we've released that is fully 100% certified organic. So
they're also the first winery in Nova Scotia that's biodynamic. So they are organic and biodynamic.
I heard somebody mention it once. I think it was over at Benjamin
Bridge, probably.
Yeah, they mentioned something. Yeah, someone mentioned that this is kind of the organic, biodynamic. He kind of sort of at the end of the sentence kind of thing, but it wasn't something that he was screaming as. I mean, if something's biodynamic.
We're certified.
Yeah, they're certified.
Yeah, so we're certified organic with ProCert and then biodynamic with
I have to do an entire podcast episode on just on biodynamic.
Oh, 100% you could.
Right.
Yes.
Nobody.
And there's a few now in Ontario, and you could, that could be fun. So yeah, Shoy Reba.
Kenty in
the county.
Yeah, they are.
Southborough.
Our brother was one of their sales reps for how long that last? 6 months.
You enjoying this last one? I might be able to taste the Chardonnay again.
Oh, absolutely.
Because that one just went down so fast.
Do you want to rinse, or are you good with
Actually,
this?
with this one.
Okay, you're good to go.
You're like, we're fine.
Like, I know what I like. Chardonnay.
He's a Chardonnay. Yeah,
So that's gonna be
he's
easy.
a Chardonnay guy.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm not the Pinot girl. Actually, we said match made in heaven.
I was gonna say, what if I match? You guys need to go to Burgundy.
I said when I said we went to Burgundy that first time. I don't think he was expecting it, but it was that was crazy.
It's a good trip.
Yeah, I'll go back.
This one is.
Yeah. Oh, this has been well, as I said, I've been planning this for over a year. I've been talking about it. I actually had almost this entire itinerary planned over a year ago.
Oh wow.
And it didn't work out the first time, and this time I almost knew exactly where I was calling, what I was doing, and it was easier to fill in the blanks this time. Because people still don't even in Ontario associate Nova Scotia with wine.
Mm-hmm.
And I even mentioned it last year. Did you know?
Yes.
Right? There's like a whole wine region there, and they do this and they do that. And they went, no, everyone just associates, like waterfront food, beer kind of thing. And so it's, I'm glad we have
It's that element of surprise too. And we talked about that earlier, particularly with the aromatic whites and the traditional and sparklings. And Tidal Bay. I mean, people really like the stories, and then they come here and engage with people, and they like that. And there's something, again, like I said, you can't really put your finger on it, like what it is, but there's like a somewhereness
trying to figure out what your magic is.
I know, we do, and then we tend to, and we draw people back, right? People go away and they come back home, or like my husband and I, who came from Ontario, and we're here, and
not to mention at the end of this, just saying about how much the quick quarter flight is.
That's right.
They have no excuse anymore.
That's right.